Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, my name is Chris Hand. How are you? Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. If you support the show, support the sponsors, betterwater.com. If you need a water filtration system or water softener. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you'll see Dan Mandis awkwardly coming in behind me to grab all of his stuff. Nothing but professionalism. We love Mandis. But the show ends at 9, Dan. The show ends at 9.
Busy podcaster.
You see this guy behind me? Unbelievable. What I have to deal with around here. No, hey, real quick, shout out to our friend Donna, who just came by the studio. What a sweetheart. She works at a Christian bookstore in Murfreesboro that you probably have heard of, but she showed up. She brought us Donut Country. She brought us coffee. What an angel.
I thought I had moved away from Donut Country from this temptation, but it just keeps following me.
Oh, my gosh. You can't get away.
So good.
You know what they say at Donut Country?
What?
First one's free. They got you hooked. It's like, I feel
It's
like
good,
Donut
man.
Country operates like a crack dealer in the 80s.
Oh, for sure.
First one's free.
Absolutely. And they're open like almost 24/7.
Yeah, it's really, nothing good happens at Donut Country after 10 o'clock, I can assure you.
It's all a mistake, but man, does it taste good.
No. So thank you, Donna. Very, very kind of you. Donald Trump right now is live in Saudi Arabia, and we're gonna be keeping our eyes on what's happening in Saudi Arabia. And they're going to be giving some remarks here live at about, they said 9 a.m. Obviously, it doesn't look like that's happening currently, but we're monitoring the situation. Should Donald Trump go live with the prince over there in Saudi Arabia, we're going to be jumping in and covering that for you as well. Now, as he heads to Saudi Arabia, it's pretty crazy, man. The difference in the headlines from a couple of years ago versus today. Let's put it this way. March 8th, 2022. This is a headline from the New York Post. Saudi UAE leaders ignore Biden when he calls to talk gas prices. That was just 2 years ago. March 2022. Excuse me, 3 years ago. Jeez, 2025. I did that the other night. I did it last night too. I looked at my wife and I was just being a goof and I said something. I was like, in the year of our Lord 2024, we're dealing with this. And then it was 2025. I'm going to get used to it eventually. We'll only have a couple months left in the year.
Yeah, I was like, guess what? We're 5 months in.
Yeah, I know. Don't wait. I'll catch on eventually. So in 2022, the New York Post ran a headline, Saudi UAE leaders ignore Biden when he calls to talk gas prices. Today, the headline is Trump arrives in Saudi Arabia after Air Force One receives a fighter jet escort. And the video of that fighter jet escort was something to be seen. I mean, you see the wing of Air Force One, and then you see these fighter jets just kind of scrambling around the jet, the plane as they escort the president in. And then when Trump landed in Saudi Arabia, the Beast is there. You know, that shows up. So he's riding in the Beast. And he gets an escort from some Saudi Arabian soldiers, I would imagine, on horseback. And so the Beast is getting a horseback-ridden escort into, what is it? Riyadh, yes.
Riyadh.
Riyadh. For the record, I asked Joan Jones how to pronounce that before the show. Still second-guessed myself before I said it, even though I trust Joan. I was very nervous that I was going to butcher that one. Franklin Graham's urging for prayer as Trump heads to the Middle East. Franklin Graham put this out yesterday. He called for prayer for President Trump as he travels to the Middle East for a meeting. He wrote this yesterday morning. There will be much pressure put on him regarding to Israel, Gaza, and the Palestinians. Pray for God's protection, and may God give him wisdom. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt previewed Trump's 4-day trip to the Middle East, saying that Trump is going to re-emphasize his continued vision for a proud, prosperous, and successful Middle East, where the United States and the Middle Eastern nations are in a cooperative relationship and where extremism is defeated and in place of commerce and cultural exchanges. That's the goal of the White House here. That's the goal of Donald Trump here. We'll see what happens. Again, they should be doing some comments and some statements here live momentarily, but we'll keep you posted on that. As he rolled in, though, with the Beast being escorted by horses, they also had the Star-Spangled Banner playing, which it kind of made me chuckle. Saudi Arabia seems to be more patriotic than the Democrats that we know. I mean, Trump is there being greeted by all the leaders in Riyadh, military leaders, government officials, and they open up with the Star-Spangled Banner for him. things have changed. This is peace through strength right here. You're watching it. You're witnessing it happening in real time. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm here for it. And I know you are as well. Side note, hey, I joined that link whenever you can pop me on. Appreciate it. So they salute the Star-Spangled Banner as it's playing outside the Saudi royal court in Riyadh. And then they get to the royal court and they welcome Donald Trump in. And it's really just been a cool couple of moments here in Saudi Arabia as things have been progressing. So we're seeing Donald Trump enter Saudi Arabia, and he's via fighter jet escort, via horseback escort, and I'm here for it, man. I'm here. We're gonna try and join this live report as it becomes available. This press conference that Trump and the Prince of Saudi Arabia is going to do. We also have inflation numbers coming out today, which weird. Inflation showed up lower than expected. Is that a good thing? I think it is, and Democrats are probably going to kvetch over it as they tend to do. But for that, I say good. We also are going to talk about the China trade deal reaction today as it becomes available. And sorry, I'm trying to do three things at once, so I'm a little bit distracted. This is Donald Trump earlier today inside Saudi Arabia being saluted by all of the military leaders as Prince Mohammed bin Salman is there with him. And, everybody just showing great respect to Donald Trump. It seems like a very cool moment here in Riyadh. And we'll get to more of this as they open up for a press conference. Will you monitor that for me, Mason, just once they go live, if you see it? I know CNN's focusing on the inflation slowing more in April than they expected. A lot of people shocked about that this morning. Shocked is all relative. I wasn't overly shocked by this, and I don't think conservatives were overly shocked by this. We see the policies that Donald Trump is putting into place, and it's kind of easy to envision that we're not going to have this rampant inflation. CNBC said that the inflation rate hit 2.3% less in April, less than expected, lowest since 2021. Lowest since 2021. The Consumer Price Index rose a seasonally adjusted 0.2% for the month of April, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.3%, the lowest since February 2021. Again, do you see Mason in the background? Give him a wave, Mason. That's Mason. We have a little bit of computer issues. Did you fix it? Did you fix it?
Maybe.
He didn't. It doesn't look fixed. I'm just spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. It doesn't look fixed. He seemed a little bit more confident for you guys than he is for me in the background.
Hey, I'm just trying to make sure things work.
So annual inflation, 2.3% in April, less than expected. Now, you would think that this would lead to celebrating, and one would imagine that the markets are going to rally behind this. Joan, have you seen any reaction from the market since these inflation numbers have come out?
You know what? It's a mixed bag right now. So the Dow Jones is down, but the Nasdaq is up, the S&P is up, and it's a very strange reaction from the markets, especially when you add this news about the consumer prices. They're still on the rise, but they're on the rise much slower. So inflation has cooled over the past month, and you double that with the report that we took in We took in more than $16 billion in tariff money in April. Like a crazy amount of money, an 87% increase over the month before.
Yeah. The plan seems to be working.
It does seem to, be having a day here.
You would think that the markets would be reacting just overwhelmingly positively, especially on the back of the China trade deal, what we're seeing in Saudi Arabia today, the investments that they're pledging. But the inflation numbers, Fox Business was talking about it this morning, coming out strong, and the American people are only going to benefit from it.
We're coming in a little bit lighter than expected. So we came in at 0.2% month over month. The street was looking for 0.3%. So that's actually better than what the street thought was going to happen here. 2.3% is the headline number year over year. The street's estimate was 2.4%. Yeah. So again, that's a lighter number than expected. 0.2% core month over month. The estimate was 0.3%. Again, better than expected. Core year over year came in at 2.8%. That was actually in line.
So almost everything is coming in better than expected, according to Fox Business. And we also see grocery prices seeing their largest decline in 5 years, gas prices falling for the third row in a month. You can absolutely make the argument that Trump's plan is working. They were talking about it a little bit more on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo, and they said the CPI that we're seeing today is just fantastic. This is Congressman Dan Muser talking with Maria Bartiromo moments ago.
But let's face it, this report on CPI is excellent, right? It's a year ago today, it was 1.2% higher than it is today. The president's deregulation, tax plans, and as well as just simply supply side made in America policy, which is what we're about, is driving supply side economics, frankly.
Yep.
And yes, it's going to be critical, Maria, that all members get on board with a winning plan of the president's, not worry about one component when there's 50 to be concerned with, and we get this done, and we truly can have a golden era of manufacturing and development for the U.S. economy.
Absolutely.
So that's Congressman Dan Muser. Now, so he's talking about the numbers, and I'll be honest with you, like I like what he's saying, but I don't know about you. I get so distracted, and maybe this is because of the world that I live in, but maybe you picked it up, Mason. They started playing the Wrap It Up music for Dan, like 15 seconds into the clip.
Yeah, I had to check and make sure something else wasn't playing on like another computer in here because I wasn't sure if it was something on our end.
And then Dan went on for like another 27 seconds. And it's like, bro, the music means wrap it up. I mean, hold on, just listen one more time because honestly, it gave me a chuckle as I was watching this earlier this morning. I thought you might pick it up too. Because full disclosure, Mason does this to me all the time. He's like, you ever see the old Chappelle Show sketch where it's like, wrap it up, B, wrap it up. You got the wrap it up box. That's what they mean when the music comes on. It's time to wrap it up.
I get to watch Mason do that all the time to you, and I chuckle every time I see him do it.
Yeah,
Wrap
John's
it up,
watching
B.
me
Yeah. Wrap
give
it up.
windmills in the background.
And then so yeah, Mason does a couple things. He puts the music on. He gives me the windmill, and then usually I turn my mic off and I'll tell him through because we have an intercom system, like a little talk back.
Yeah.
So that way
He
we
talks
can talk
back to me, and it's not a fan.
So I turn my mic off so you can't hear me on the air, and then I'll go into Mason's ear and I'll be like 45 more seconds.
It's like, this is going to be an hour clip.
negotiation.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna go about 30 more seconds. But listen, hold on. So he's like, Dan is in like not Mandis, Dan Muser, Congressman Dan Muser. He's like 10 seconds into his spiel, and the music starts playing. He goes, "Hold my beer. I got more things to say."
Let's face it, this report on CPI is excellent, right? It's a year ago today, it was 1.2%.
Oh my gosh, it was even quicker than I thought. They give the floor to Dan, and it's like 7 seconds into the clip, and then he goes on for another 40 seconds.
Holy smokes.
He doesn't understand the wrap it up music.
It's also, I thought it was like going to be a fade in. It's just there.
I mean, that thing, it slams. Do you hear
Like,
that?
get out.
You get 8 seconds in, and they're like, Dan, sorry, bro, we don't have time.
But let's face it, this report on CPI is excellent, right? It's a year ago today, it was 1.2% higher than it is today. The president's deregulation, tax plans, and
then you know there's like a producer in Maria Bartiromo's ear going like, does he know to wrap it up?
Does he understand that?
It's like he's
That's what
wrapping
that
it.
means?
He's wrapping it up.
He'll be there soon.
Don't worry. He's gonna. And you hear her? She chimes in. She's like, "Yep,
Yep,
like it's time. Yep.
we got spots to get to here, Dan."
Of the president's,
Chris,
not
wrap it
worry
up.
about one component when there's 50 to be concerned with, and we get this done, and we truly can have a golden era of manufacturing and development for the U.S. economy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Dan. Music was on for 40 seconds, pal.
Makes what he was saying sound a little more epic, but
It does. It does.
It's
It
just-
does. There's a couple thoughts behind that, but
false hope.
I don't know. I'm like, the numbers are great. Very excited about it. I'm so distracted by you guys trying to make Congressman Dan Muser wrap it up.
All right.
Wrap it up, B.
Yep.
Wrap it up. All right. So Donald Trump is going to be speaking with media and Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia, and we are going to bring you some of those highlights as they become available. Plus, we're also going to bring you more audio, more reaction to these consumer price index, the inflation report that just came out. We'll be talking about that a little bit as well. Plus, we also have updates as Mason gives me the dreaded windmill of doom. We'll have updates on the China trade deal and the pharmaceutical executive order. All that and more on the way. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$600 billion. That's the price tag on the deals that President Trump just signed in Saudi Arabia this morning. And a new Tennessee law that could prove to be a problem for some homeless shelters in the Nashville area. Those stories and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Now you can listen to us anywhere, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can also watch the show, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and our personal favorite, YouTube. Chat's already jumping. They were telling me to wrap it up a moment ago. So, all right. Sorry.
Doing my job for me.
No,
Hold on, guys.
Shout out to the chat. Mason Fleming's producing. Joan Jones in the newsroom. Hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things. Everybody does all the things, right?
All the things.
I think everybody does a good job with all the things. So,
we appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys and shout out to all of you. So the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and Donald Trump moments ago were signing a series of agreements on a number of different items, from energy to it was energy to defense and other areas. And we're getting video coming out of Saudi Arabia of them signing these agreements, but we're not yet hearing exactly what the agreement entails. Have you gotten any word on what those agreements entail, Joan?
I have a little bit of information about it. It's not very clear just yet. Like, no source is laying out exactly what all these deals are. But I do have little tidbits that I pulled from here and there, and I've got all of that at 9:30 here.
Oh,
so that's my other tease.
You're gonna wait for the newscast. You're not.
Yes. And do me a favor, Chris. Don't tell the story before I tell the story.
All right. Sorry. That's Joan Jones. I won't say anything mean or I'll get my tires slashed in the parking lot.
Brake lines too, remember.
Yes, absolutely. We love Joan Jones. Okay, so she's got details coming up in the newscast. She doesn't want to give them to me. She wants to break it for you here on Super Talk on her own. She's a little glory hogging it. That's okay. That's what I do over here in my dust-encrusted news corner. I love it. Donald Trump did say, though, that they were there today for big business. That's what they're getting done in Saudi Arabia. Big business.
Biggest business leaders in the world here. They're going to walk away with a lot of checks for a lot of things that you're going to provide. And in the United States, it's probably 2 million jobs that we're talking about this visit. So, number one, I like visiting with you, and we've known each other very well, and I really believe we like each other a lot. And number two, for the United States, we've brought tremendous investment in and tremendous jobs, and we'll continue to service the great country very well.
Yeah, I think that investment level was at $600 billion with a B, $600 billion. So it's definitely a huge level of investment from Saudi Arabia. It's definitely going to equal a lot of American jobs. I'm eager to hear what's inside that agreement between Trump and the Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Scott Bessent held some talks last night. This was ahead of Trump's meetings, and he was focused on, well, as you could guess, Trump's agenda of trade, tax cuts, and deregulation. This is a little bit from Scott Bessent last night.
Trump economic agenda really consists of 3 parts. Thus far, we have seen trade, which has gotten most of the publicity, and President Trump wants to reorder the U.S. engagement with other countries. And I will tell you that the tariffs, the non-tariff trade barriers, currency manipulation, and subsidies of labor and capital are coming down quickly. So I am optimistic that on trade, we could actually see more frictionless trade globally.
Frictionless trade globally means more money in the pockets of Americans, I can only imagine. But we'll hear more from Scott Bessent on the other side. Plus, we're going to try to get some more of these details out of the Trump-Saudi Arabia agreements that have been signed. Joan Jones on deck with the latest headlines right here on Super Talk.
Good morning. It is 9:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And so we're waiting for the start of this press conference with President Trump. He has signed what's being called a strategic economic partnership alongside Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Fox News is reporting that partnership included a series of deals on energy, defense, mining, and space-based agreements that amount to $600 billion and could help to create up to 2 million U.S. jobs. And we'll bring you more of this as soon as we learn more as we await the president to take the podium. Some good news on the economy. Inflation is cooling at a time when economists were actually expecting to see a bigger rise in prices.
Overall, food prices fell last month by a fraction, but some grocery items saw a dramatic decline. The cost of a dozen eggs, for example, fell more than 10% as the effect of avian flu eased. Still, egg prices are almost 50% higher than in April of last year.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. And taking a look at the markets, the Dow Jones Industrials, they're still down this morning, down 131 points. But we've got the NASDAQ gaining 240 and the S&P 500 index up 41 points. Nissan announced plans to cut its global workforce by 15%, or about 20,000 jobs. Nissan's latest fiscal report showed sales of its vehicles have slipped and the company posted a loss. Nissan also said it would close 2 or 3 of its plants, but it's not clear if either of Tennessee's plants will be affected. And new this morning, it's now a crime in Tennessee to harbor or hide a person who entered the country illegally. A bill that was introduced during the last legislative session moved through both chambers. It was signed by Governor Bill Lee on May 9th. That new law allows the Attorney General to prosecute a person or an organization, and that would include homeless shelters, if they harbor or hide an illegal immigrant in Tennessee. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS, and you also know when it comes to these home repairs, especially the waterproofing, it's so easy to ignore the warning signs. I mean, it's just a little water in the basement. It's just some damp walls after it rains. You hope it'll go away, and sure, it'll dry up eventually. But here's the truth. The small problems will never stay small. The good news is, though, that USS is going to come to your home with a custom solution, and they want to give you that peace of mind. And that peace of mind they've brought to over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky already. When the experts from USS show up, you're going to get honest answers from people who care about your home, not people who care about their quota. So whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, you need to talk to USS. They stand behind their work. They stand behind their warranties, and that's something you can trust. Locally owned, 30 years in the game, and here for the long haul. So if you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. And they're online at USSTN.com. 9:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris and the show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Appreciate it when you do so. And go find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. If you like people, telling things like the truth, it helps us when you share it to get the message out. So we appreciate it when you do so. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation, either via the phone lines or the text line. A lot to get to today. We got an inflation report coming out that is way better than people expected. They were expecting it to be a bit higher. Not in the Trump economy. We're not doing that. It's actually the lowest that it's been in 4 years. So the news today is absolutely massive. Annual inflation rate hit 2.3% in April, less than expected, lowest since 2021. Consumer price index rose a seasonally adjusted 0.2% for the month, putting the 12-month inflation rate at 2.3%. Again, the lowest since February of 2021. Remember everybody saying that the sky is falling and that Donald Trump is going to tailspin the economy, and we're going to go into a recession, and everything's going to be wrecked, and it has to do with the orange man, and it has to do with the tariffs, and why, oh, why do we keep letting him get away with this? Do you remember when everybody was screaming that? I remember when everybody was screaming that. Some, the diehards, still scream it. Yet here we are. The further away we get from Liberation Day, the day that Trump imposed those tariffs, the better Liberation Day looks. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. So we have inflation coming in at record lows since 2021, the lowest it's been, which is fantastic. And then we also have a lot of money coming in. And I know Joan Jones mentioned this in her newscast, but it bears repeating. The U.S. raked in $16 billion with a B, $16 billion in April on the back of Trump's tariffs. Oh. Is that good? Mason, you got to fact check this for me. When the U.S. makes $16 billion, is that good?
Hold on. Give me just a second here. All right. Yep. Right here. I'll go. Yep.
That's what I was.
That's pretty good.
That's what I thought, but I appreciate the fact check.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
He's like, what? Joe Rogan has Jamie. I have Mason.
I'm here. Happy to help.
We're both the Temu versions of the one we were mentioning, but here we are. Hey,
Temu's not all.
Is it putting more respect on it to call us the Sheen version or the Temu?
I'd rather
version?
be the Walmart version.
The Walmart version?
Yeah.
So at least it's an American product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
America is
American born.
There you go. Yeah. So Trump's tariffs brought in $7.6 billion more in custom payments in April than what the U.S. collected the previous month as duties on imported goods ramped up, the Treasury Department said on Monday. So he effectively doubled what we were making on these duties. The custom duties in April totaled $16 billion, about a $9 billion increase from the year earlier period, and eclipsing the previous record of $9.6 billion 2 years earlier, the agency said. The jump occurred as Trump boosted tariffs on Chinese goods to as much as 145%, while slapping at least 10% levies on imports of goods from other countries. Those are going to be sticking around, by the way. Those 10% baseline tariffs are not going anywhere. The budget results indicate that the U.S. collected over just, wait for it, $500 million a day from tariffs in April. $500 million a day. That's wild. Is that not wild? Is that not what we want? Is that not what we voted for? America first, to not be being ripped off on the world stage any longer, to incentivize these companies to come and make their products here in America. I think this is going to do that. The boon in April likely reflects also other tariffs that were levied this year, including the duties that they put on steel and aluminum products from Mexico and Canada, since new tariffs take about a month to show up as receipts. Overall, the U.S. government posted a total $258 billion budget surplus for April, 23%, or about $49 billion a year earlier, reflecting a strong tax receipt in the final month of the tax season and record collections of import duties, the Treasury Department said. For the first 7 months of the fiscal year, net customs duties totaled $63 billion, compared with $48 billion in the same period a year earlier. The new revenue, however, likely to drop off. So we can get excited about it, but it's probably going to fall, and that's because the U.S. and China have begun negotiating, and we have that 90-day pause to temporarily ease some of these tariffs on China. The U.S. cut its 145% duties to 30% for the next 90 days. China levies on U.S. imports will fall to 10% from 125%. This was all announced yesterday, but this is so the numbers may not stay here, but they're definitely going to be better than they have been because of that 10% baseline tariff that Trump is charging on everybody. Receipts last month were driven by a 16% increase in individual non-withheld tax payments, which totaled $460 billion. Individual refunds also rose 16% to $86 billion, detracting from the net total budget receipts of $850 billion for the month. Treasury reported a $1.05 trillion budget deficit for the first 7 months of fiscal 2025, which started in October, now up 23% or $194 billion from a year earlier. Fiscal year-to-date receipts of $3.1 trillion outlays of $4.2 trillion were both records for the year through April, though the deficit itself was not, a Treasury official said, after accounting for calendar differences that exaggerated outlays recorded in 2024 and $85 billion in deferred tax receipts from California that had boosted the fiscal year 2024 receipts. The deficit would have been 4% higher, according to the official. So a lot of the numbers coming in very positive. Again, $16 billion in tariff money that we're getting. It's probably going to dip a little bit next month because of the pause that has been instituted, the 90-day pause between the United States and China. And that's okay if it dips a little bit, as long as the year over year remains higher. We're going to be just fine. This is America first. This is what Donald Trump has been working to. And National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett said, what you're seeing is going to accelerate. He said, expect more regulation cuts. Expect more from the Trump administration when it comes to the economy. He says the regulation cuts that have been coming through executive orders all the way back to the 20th of January, it's only going to ramp up and accelerate.
Oh, the regulation cuts have been coming really through the executive orders all the way back to the 20th of January. And so
Is this as big as they get?
Oh no, they're gonna accelerate for sure. And the bottom line is that one of the biggest things that I found back when we were in the first term in 2017 was that the president's basically making it really, really difficult to create new regulations had an outsized big positive effect on the economy. You could go back and look, and small business sentiment, for example, by the summer of his first term was the highest it had been since World War II. And this is because it's like a secret for economists. It seems that they hadn't thought of before in 2017 that when you have a new regulation, it's really, really hard on business. They got to hire all these engineers and lawyers to figure out what are we going to do with this new regulation. And a huge amount of time under President Obama, especially, who put out a massive, massive amount of new regulations. A huge amount of time was spent trying to figure out what are we going to do with this new regulation. And so by pausing that, already we're having a big, massive positive effect. And that's one reason why I think, as you saw, like core GDP at 3% in the first quarter before all of the dust settled with the uncertainty. And so I think the golden age is clearly coming with the tax cuts and trade policy uncertainty mostly resolved right now.
Mostly resolved, the trade policy, says National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. Now, one of the things he mentioned was, all the regulation cuts, and I saw one last night that got me just excited. When you stop your car at the red light and the car shuts off now, and then you take your foot off the brake and the car starts back up. And you know how ridiculous that is, and everybody hates it and doesn't make any sense. It's kind of dumb to do. Like, I don't even. Do you like that stuff?
I can't stand it. I turn it off in my car every
You turned
morning.
it off in your car?
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that?
There's a little auto switch, at least on my Jeep, to go into the settings to turn it off, to have it off permanently. There's also a little button that I can push to turn it off.
I'm looking for that.
I didn't know that was an option.
At least in Jeeps, I've found mine.
Okay. Well, listen, if you don't have that option in your car, you won't have to worry about it in the next one. Lee Zeldin posted on X, and great tweet, maybe one of the all-timers from Lee Zeldin, and you'll see it on the screen if you're watching on Supertalk TV. Lee Zeldin said, stop technology, where your car dies at every red light, so companies get a climate participation trophy. EPA approved it. Everyone hates it, so we're fixing it. They're going to get rid of that. For that, we say thank you. This is exactly what I voted for. I don't know about you. I want fair trade. I want mass deportations, and I want the stupid automatic start-stop on my car gone. Right?
I'm here for it.
This is it's the little things. You know what I mean? Like, this is like one of those things, like you go to somebody's, a big party or a great wedding, and it's like, it's the little details that mean something. Like, it could be a great venue, huge, beautiful. And all the big stuff is really on point. But then you notice those little details that really tie everything together. And so, like, with Trump, the big stuff is really great, really on point. But then you see these little details, and it's just like, oh, it's beautiful. I had a tear come to my eye last night when I read this. I said, Lee, not all heroes wear capes. Unbelievable. Get that man a medal. Can we get him a medal? Do you have a medal laying around?
Can he do something about that feature that doesn't let you change lanes unless you have your turn signal on?
What?
Have you seen this?
No.
Have you felt this? But so my car, unless you turn on the turn signal as you're trying to make that turn, the wheel is actually pulling back, and you can feel like a vibration under your leg. If you're trying to turn right, it goes under your right leg. If you're trying to turn left, it goes under your left leg.
That's insane. And I know it's got to be tough for you because in Philadelphia, nobody uses their blinkers.
Well done, Chris. That was really good.
What?
Good for you. Well done.
What? I'm just,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's counterintuitive to everything you've been taught.
I have my knife out.
She's ready.
Searching out your car.
That's all right. I too think blinkers are sometimes just a suggestion.
Yeah, but it happens in my parents' car. They drive a Kia Telluride is what they have. And if you don't turn it on, it'll force you back into the lane.
Yeah,
or
it's
if it
really
senses you
annoying.
drifting into another lane, it'll push you back.
That's so lame.
It's lame and it's dangerous.
I figured out how to turn it off on my car, though.
Ooh.
And I did. Felt good.
Look,
I
you
bet that's
guys are
great.
just advanced hackers. I don't know how you're doing all this. Joan Jones is hacking in and turning off the no lane change.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not using the damn blinker. I don't care what anybody says. I'd rather hack into this computer and edit this thing out.
I have
rather
hand
your car just
signals
do it
for what I'm
itself.
about to do.
You have hand signals? I bet you do. I bet you do. So, all right, just to recap, Joan doesn't use a blinker and she doesn't care who knows it. And she's,
That's right.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Just slash your tires if you disagree.
Yes.
Honestly. So there's a lot more to cover. I know we're going to be getting a lot of instant reaction coming in from these inflation numbers, which have just been fantastic. I know we're going to get a lot of reaction coming in from Donald Trump and the meeting that he had with Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia. We'll bring all those updates on the way. So hang out with us. A lot more to get to right here on the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Glock Store, and I got to tell you about one of my favorite events of the year that's coming up, Glock Store's 5th annual open house, Saturday, May 31st. They do it every year. They throw open the doors. They roll out the red carpet for all of Nashville, and they have raffles, deals, full auto fun. It is going to be a banger of a party. This year, the raffles are going to be nonstop all day long. We're talking custom Glock handgun giveaways, premium gear. You want to win it? They're going to have it up for a raffle. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And even if you don't win a raffle, the deals are going to make you a winner. The deals are wild. You need ammo? Of course you do. Who doesn't? Check out the Burrow Bullets Blowout. You're going to be able to get 1,000-round tac packs of 9mm and 223 packed in custom ammo boxes, and you're not going to believe the price. And yes, they're bringing out the full auto rental rifles again, 9mm, 5.56. I've done it. So much fun. You're going to want to do it too. So mark it down. It's all happening Saturday, May 31st. Minutes from the airport. Worth the drive from anywhere at the one and only Glock Store, glockstore.com.
Coming up here on Super Talk 99.7, President Trump is in Saudi Arabia, but it's not stopping him from taking more swipes at Harvard University. Got an update, too, on the Nashville rescue mission employee who was shot 11 times at work on Sunday. It's all coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Donald Trump, Prince Mohammed bin Salman signing a big agreement when it comes to energy and defense. The Post-Millennial has the story. President Trump, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, signed a series of agreements on energy defense and other areas Tuesday. Multiple agreements signed at the formal ceremony focused on cooperation between the U.S. and Saudi military, including modernization and development of capabilities of the Saudi armed forces through future defense capabilities, ammunition training, support services, maintenance system upgrades, spare parts, and education for land and air systems of the National Guard, as well as development of the health capabilities of the Saudi armed forces. That is according to CNN. In a fact sheet released by the White House, the Trump administration touted the deal signed on Tuesday, saying, today in Saudi Arabia, President Donald J. Trump announced Saudi Arabia's $600 billion commitment to invest in the United States, building economic ties that will endure for generations to come. The first deals under the announcement strengthen our energy security, defense industry, technology leadership, and access to global infrastructure and critical minerals. Trump was seen with bin Salman in a large ballroom for the ceremony, and they signed the agreements. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, I'll put that up on the screen for you. I mean, they were. I mean, that room is absolutely gorgeous, and it's actually it's a little bit awkward too because Trump is sitting at this little table. It reminds me of the table that Biden used to sit at. Remember that when he was on the set?
Yeah.
Where they had like that weird Oval Office set thing. Do you remember that?
I do. It made me uncomfortable every time.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't like desks where I can see the grown man's legs under them. That's a table.
Yeah.
The Resolute desk does not have that.
Yeah, get a real desk.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It made me feel like it was a padded safe room that they knew they could control. That was collapsible furniture so it wouldn't hurt him.
Is that what you think?
I don't know, man.
That's where your head went? That furniture looks collapsible so it won't hurt the president. That's what
watch out. Joe Biden gets taken out by a breakaway chair.
Maybe. So the fact sheet from the White House also addressed the $20 billion investment from Saudis into AI data centers and energy infrastructure around the U.S. with the Saudi Arabian firm DataVolt. In addition, the fact sheet detailed more of the deals. It says investment partnership includes several sector-specific funds with a strong emphasis on U.S. deployment, such as $5 billion energy investment fund, $5 billion new aerospace and defense technology fund, and the $4 billion Enfield Sports Global Sports Fund, each channeling substantial capital into American industries, driving innovation and creating high-quality jobs across the United States. Trump said of the Crown Prince during the events, I really believe we like each other a lot and that we have a tremendous relationship. The Crown Prince has emerged as an ally to Trump in the Middle East as the administration has tried to bring peace to the war between Russia and Ukraine. So $600 billion announced in that deal. It's pretty awesome. Now, the president did joke and say it could turn into $1 trillion. You know the Saudis have the money for that, right?
Absolutely.
Saudis have stupid money. So yeah, I think they could easily turn into $1 trillion too. $600 billion, rookie numbers. Step it up. Signed with love, President Trump. 10 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. An employee at Nashville Rescue Mission recovering in a hospital now after being shot 11 times in the parking lot as he left work on Sunday. Cedric Wilson is said to be a stellar employee. He's described as that by Sam Sipple. He's the mission's vice president of development and marketing.
Treats our guests just like you would want to be treated, right? He's the kind of guy that is known for going out of his way to help people in need. He's the kind of guy that you can count on and who just has a heart for the people that we care for.
Wilson was shot by Tadarius Hunt, who was killed in a shootout with police on the Division Street Bridge yesterday. New this morning, one person has died hit by a train early this morning in Antioch. News 2 reports that person was standing on the tracks between Camper and Bell Road when they were hit by the CSX train. Emergency responders were called to the scene, but it appears that person died instantly from their injuries. Also just crossing the wires today, CNN reporting that the Trump administration is cutting another $450 million in federal grants to Harvard University. And this is on top of the $2.2 billion already slashed. It's amid a battle over anti-Semitic protests on Harvard campus. Harvard sued the Trump administration last month over the first round of cuts. No response from today's announcement so far. Kim Kardashian taking the stand in a Paris courtroom to testify in her trial against the so-called grandpa robbers in her 2016 Paris jewelry heist. Kardashian saying around 5 masked armed men broke into her hotel room, bound her and gagged her, and held her at gunpoint. ABC foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli has more.
There also is quite a bit of evidence against these suspects as well. We understand that they first actually found the main suspect by finding DNA that was left on one of the plastic tags that was used to tie up Kim Kardashian. So there is hard evidence in this case. So Kim's testimony is just one portion of everything they have against them. We know that today was the first and only time that Kim is going to be testifying. But in general, this case could take up to a month before it's closed.
Microsoft announcing it'll cut 3% of its workforce, mostly in management layers, totaling about 6,800 employees. Stocks are mixed right now after a slew of agreements were signed between President Trump and Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince this morning. Chipmaker NVIDIA has announced that it will sell its latest version of AI chips to a Saudi Arabian company. CNBC saying that deal underscores the importance of NVIDIA's chips as a bargaining tool for the Trump administration around the world. The Dow is down 182, NASDAQ up 273, S&P, it's gaining 43. That's the latest news. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, and share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. It'll help my kids get into a really good summer camp. It's free to do, so you wouldn't want to deprive the kids, would you? Would you?
Don't want them working on boxes all summer.
No. All right, so you know how the Saudi Arabians are very excited to have Trump?
Oh yeah? Oh.
It's not the fighter jet escort of Air Force One. It's not the horseback escort of the beast, okay? What really shows me that the Saudis are excited to have Donald Trump in office is that a mobile McDonald's has been set up in Saudi Arabia for Trump's visit.
I'm looking at it right now. I went ahead, and if you're on the stream, you can check it out too.
It's like on the back of an 18-wheeler.
That's awesome. It's air conditioned too from the looks of it. It's fully functional.
You get a Big Mac in Riyadh right now, baby.
Just signed a big deal. Thought I'd get a McDouble.
It's so funny.
That's awesome.
It reminds me of the meme where it's how do you say quarter pounder with cheese in France, and then underneath it, it's all Arabic. Like, have you ever seen that?
I have, yeah.
It's so good. It says, this is it. How do you say quarter pounder with cheese in France? There it is.
So good.
There it is.
So good.
All right, so they're very excited to have Donald Trump in Saudi Arabia. I think we're waiting. We're still waiting for them to do some questions with the media. Should that happen, we're going to be jumping into it live, and we'll stop what we're doing. We'll break it down for that press conference because it should be a good one. Lots for President Trump to talk about, given the excitement over the past couple of days. Something that I wanted to talk about was the South African uproar. Have you seen the South African uproar? Nobody likes the South Africans. If you have a D next to your name or you fancy yourself a liberal, you're very upset that we're welcoming refugees all of a sudden. And I just thought that was the whole thing of the left, that refugees were always welcome, no matter what. What's the problem? Oh, they're white. So you're only allowed to flee. You're only allowed to flee persecution and danger and seek asylum and refuge if you aren't white. Is that what we're being told by the left? You see, yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced that while South Africans are being persecuted in South Africa, that he was going to be welcoming them in to America. And they welcomed in their first group of South African refugees yesterday. And I don't know about you, but I'm watching this video that they put out from the State Department, and I'm looking at these South Africans that are now these newest class of Americans, right? They're gonna go through the citizenship and stuff like that, but they're refugees. They're being welcomed in, and I have some observations. Yeah, sure, they're all white, but you know what else I noticed? They're not all single war-fighting aged men. I noticed that. I noticed that none of them are waving the flag of South Africa. All of them are waving the American flag, which is a little bit different than the refugees and the migrants that the left likes to support. Usually they wave the flags from their own country while demanding rights and due process and all that stuff. Yet these individuals seem very excited to be here in America. They're waving American flags, and their families, women, children. And this infuriates the left to no end. I mean, listen to what MSNBC had to say about this just yesterday. Again, they said none of this would be happening if these individuals weren't white. And MSNBC went as far as to say that it's appalling that we would let in these white South Africans as refugees.
They're saying that it's
Oh, hold on. I got way too many audio sources going at once. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. Right here. Wait for it. Sorry. It's been issues today for the computer. I still got audio going somewhere else. Hang on. My apologies. I usually don't mess up this hard. I mess up, but not this hard.
Oh, you mess up.
I do. I surely do. All right, this is MSNBC on the white South Africaners being refugees.
So the Trump administration, they're saying that essentially these white South Africans assimilate better, and they're also not as much of a security risk. That's really causing a lot of people to be appalled, frankly. And I also should tell people that this violence that they're talking about that are dealing with these Afrikaners, I've been hearing from people that say there is violence in South Africa, but it's affecting everybody of every single race, Katie.
Oh, yeah. So it's affecting everybody, Katie. You know, they did this thing on a highway in South Africa where they put up all these crosses for all the white South Africans who have been murdered by their government, essentially, because they want their farmland back. And whose farmland is it? You know, it gets in gray areas over there. But they say, oh, no, this is appalling. This is appalling. And I would just point out, there's plenty of video illustrating the danger that white South Africans are facing. This guy his name is Julius Malema, something like that. And he's been a member of parliament in South Africa since 2014. And he was one of the front runners for prime minister. And let's just hear how he talks about the white South Africaners.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean...
Oh, that's nice. Listen, we're not calling for the killing of white people now, but no guarantees in the future. And depending on who you ask, they say, no, there's a legitimate genocide going on in South Africa. That's how Donald Trump put it the other day before we welcomed these refugees into the United States. He was inside the Oval Office, and Donald Trump had this to say.
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. Mm-hmm. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. Yep. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here.
And again, you see the video of these refugees from South Africa coming in, and it's not just war-fighting aged males, it's families, it's women, it's children, and they're all waving American flags. Grateful to be here, grateful for the opportunity from the president and this administration to start anew, because what they were facing, well, you could almost say certain death. You're going to be murdered. You're going to have your land confiscated. Oh, but the leftist media will say that this is all racism. In fact, Donna Edwards, who's on MSNBC, she's a political analyst, a highfalutin political analyst. She accused President Trump of pure racism when it comes to this policy, because he wants to save individuals who are being persecuted by their government, brutally murdered, and having their farmland stolen. She said, obviously, this means Donald Trump is a racist.
Well, in my view, what makes it different is that they are white South Africans. The president, in my view, has not hidden his racism behind a bushel. In fact, in his policies, whether it's removing government workers or, in this case, admitting white South Africans while denying refugee status, asylum seekers from other countries, principally Central and South American and Black nations, to come into this country. And so I think that, this policy, while it's not surprising in this action, really speaks of the underlying message in this that disrespects and shows disdain for people of color while embracing these Afrikaners now, and also expediting the process by which they can come into the country while denying that same process to other refugees.
Oh, yeah. You have to understand, Donald Trump is only doing this because he's racist. It has nothing to do with the high levels of crime that are coming from those countries in South America. Nothing to do with that. It would have nothing to do with the gang affiliations that many of these individuals from those countries are bringing with them. And no. It has to do with racism all day. It's only racism with Donald Trump. I don't know if this narrative is going to stick. In fact, I think that it's really become wallpaper at this point. Donald Trump is a racist. More tonight at 5. Does this move the needle? Even with your average leftist, even with someone who's dyed-in-the-wool liberal, and they believe this to their core, that Donald Trump is a big, bad racist, this has become wallpaper to them, too. I don't see anybody getting up in arms over this. I think this is going to be one of those stories that disappears relatively quickly, especially because these refugees were admitting that they're going to be coming in and assimilating to the culture, which is the main thing we need. We don't want individuals to come to America and then wave the flag of the country that they once resided in. That's not assimilation whatsoever. We want individuals that are going to come here and learn English and learn the customs of this nation. And I don't necessarily know that that's happening in those other countries when they send individuals here. So, it's pure racism, they say. Pure racism. Has nothing to do with the leadership inside South Africa, which, again, time and time again, you hear these individuals talk, and it is absolutely insane. This is Julius Malema. He was a member of parliament in South Africa since 2014. He was one of the leading candidates for prime minister in this last election.
We are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
I'm not ruling it out. I may not be the one to call for it. But yeah, it's on the table. It's of course it's on the table. This is government leaders, political leaders in South Africa.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Oh, it could be me that calls for the genocide of white farmers in South Africa, but it also may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer.
I'm sure that was not a call for genocide. Kill the boar, the farmer. Okay, so it's a good place to live if you're a white South African, or I'm sure. Nothing to worry about. Senator Chris Van Hollen weighed in on this. And we know Senator Chris Van Hollen from his most recent tale of the Maryland man. And Senator Chris Van Hollen claims that white South Africaners do not need refugee status because Trump had the audacity to admit 60 of them into the United States. Again, I would just point to the political leadership.
Farmer! Kill the poor! The farmer!
Pow. Okay. All right. Senator Van Hollen says they don't need to worry. Ahead of the arrival of those white South African refugees in the United States yesterday, Senator Chris Van Hollen says Trump and Musk about to give refugee status to 60 white South Africans who do not need it, while Trump locks up and deports refugees here who face genuine dangers in other countries. This is the sick global apartheid policy being adopted by this lawless administration. You know, he leaves out the part that the individuals he's deporting are here illegally and they didn't come in the right way. He leaves out the part that he's defending MS-13 gang members and these individuals are fleeing a murderous government. He leaves all that out. This is just, again, Trump being racist and locking up and deporting refugees from who face genuine dangers in other countries. He said the same thing about the Maryland man. Oh, it's so dangerous in El Salvador, especially after they cleaned up all the crime. And it's become one of the safest places in the world. We can't send him back there. But again, the leftists up in arms because Trump had the audacity to allow in 60 white people from South Africa. Yep. It's just, listen, it's mask off anti-white hatred from the left on this one. That's all you can chalk it up to. Mask off anti-white hatred. It's 1021. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Are you living with back pain, neck pain, knee pain, nerve pain? You know that doesn't have to be your reality, right? And you know that there's non-surgical, medication-free procedures that you can get that will fix you up the right way and heal your pain at the root cause. See, that's what they do at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and they've been doing it for a long time, changing lives with that non-surgical, drug-free treatments that will target the root cause of your pain. So you can forget the surgery, you can forget the pills, because these guys specialize in spinal decompression. This is a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and your nerves naturally. Dr. Mitchell's trained all over the globe. Dr. Ashley's an expert in holistic healing and chiropractic care. And whether it's sciatica, neuropathy, or herniated disc, they have real solutions. So don't waste another day living in pain. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville right now and say, I'm tired of the pain. Help me out. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. Painisbad.com.
$600 billion. That's the price tag on the deals that President Trump signed in Saudi Arabia this morning. And the new Tennessee law that could prove to be a problem for some homeless shelters in the Nashville area. That and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 1026 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The left in a tizzy about the Trump administration admitting 60 refugees. 60. Why? Why are they upset? Well, because they're white. That's pretty much the spoiler alert. That's a Cliff Notes version. It's a Cliff Notes version. They had nothing to say when it was millions upon millions of illegal aliens from all over the globe. They had nothing to say when it was Tren de Aragua members and they started taking over apartment complexes. They had nothing to say when it was MS-13 members murdering our daughters, wives, mothers. Nothing to say in those scenarios. But 60 white South Africans. Oh my gosh. Do you have any idea how big of a racist this makes Donald Trump? We can't keep letting him get away with it. At least that's the attitude and tone that they're taking on CNN.
So what's the difference between the refugees that they're talking about here and those refugees?
I mean, like, again, real quick, the refugees that they're letting in from South Africa, very small in number. None of them, I would imagine, are convicted child sex offenders. I would imagine none of them are coming in guilty of murder or rape. And I would imagine that the vetting process was a bit better than what Joe Biden and his administration did during the invasion in those 4 years that we witnessed.
I could guess. I mean, I think everyone...
They're white.
They're white. Thank you.
Oh, there it is. That's it. That's it. They're white. They're white. So the left is mad.
They are white. And I think, look, if that is how you feel, fine, then hold the line. But there are people all over the world, even people in this country right now, who are who have sought asylum, who are going through the process of asylum seeking, and have been detained by ICE and are being deported.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference is that those individuals are showing up at the border, and then they have to stake their asylum claim. And then if the asylum claim has been deemed BS, you can't stay. I think one of the main things about the South Africaners is that the asylum claim, the refugee claim, not BS. I mean, it's very plain as day that they are in danger there just because of their skin color. And yeah, we should be looking out for them. Isn't that like the ideals that the left always espouses? Oh, we got to be a beacon of hope for the entire world. Okay. Aren't we doing that? And this enrages them because no. Don't do it that way.
There is also a genocide happening in the Congo right now that I don't see any Congolese being getting relief to come to this country. So there are Afghanis that helped us in Afghanistan that we have left behind. Even though
wait, who left them behind? Wait, hold on a second. There are Afghanis that helped us in Afghanistan that we left behind? Who left them behind? Who left them behind? Oh, that's right. The guy that used to middle from the middle. That guy. That guy. He left them behind. Yeah. Like, why does he even use that as oh, what about Afghanistan? We also let in a bunch of Afghanis, by the way. Too many for my liking, especially given the vetting procedures of the Biden administration. But she's very upset. What about the Afghanis?
the last administration didn't do right by them, this administration can do right by them, but they are not, because it doesn't fit the narrative of the type of immigrants that we want in our country.
And even saying, there is also a genocide happening in Congo. We got to be careful about acknowledging that
there's
not a genocide in South Africa.
That's right. There is no genocide.
No, of course, we're in agreement there. I mean, certainly there are white people in South Africa who have been victims of crimes. That happens all over the world. That certainly does not entitle someone to the level of persecution to be entitled to asylum in the United States. When we, as a nation, are turning away people, forget the woke stuff. I mean, literally, people who assisted the United States military in Afghanistan are not being admitted to this country now in favor of white South Africans under some genocide narrative that is just nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we're turning our back on the Afghanis that helped us, and we're helping white people. This is horrible. This is horrible. Biden turned his back on those Afghanis. Let the record show. There's no genocide in South Africa. They're just victims of crime. Okay. I mean, hey, it's quite the narrative that you have there. I don't buy it for a second. I don't think the American people do either. It's 1031 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 10:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Still waiting for the start of a press conference with President Trump. He has signed a series of deals with Saudi Arabia on energy, defense, mining, and space-based agreements that amount to $600 billion and could help to create 2 million U.S. jobs. Some good news on the economy. Inflation is cooling at a time when economists were expecting to see a much bigger rise.
Overall, food prices fell last month by a fraction, but some grocery items saw a dramatic decline. The cost of a dozen eggs, for example, fell more than 10% as the effect of avian flu eased. Still, egg prices are almost 50% higher than in April of last year.
ABC's Jim Ryan there. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he plans to put a blanket hold on all Justice Department nominees. CNN reporting it's in response to President Trump's plans to accept a luxury jet from the Qatari royal family to use as Air Force One. The stunt is designed to force the GOP to burn Senate floor time to overcome the hold. Nissan announced plans to cut its global workforce by 15%, or about 20,000 jobs, and close 3 of its plants. It's not clear, though, if either of Tennessee's plants will be affected. And new this morning, it's now a crime in Tennessee to harbor or hide a person who entered the country illegally. A bill that was introduced during the last legislative session moved through both chambers, and it was signed by Governor Bill Lee on May 9th. That new law allows the Attorney General to prosecute a person or an organization, that would include homeless shelters, if they harbor or hide an illegal immigrant in Tennessee. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're about to join President Trump live at the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum. Before we do that, though, he's getting the pleasantries out of the way. But did you see he had walk-up music?
Yeah, I did.
He's in Saudi Arabia, and his walk-up music is Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA.
Huge.
I didn't know that they allowed music over there.
I didn't either.
No, I'm just kidding. They do. President Trump is speaking now. We're joining that live.
Ever before. And by the way, it will remain that way. We don't go in and out like other people. It will remain that way. I've come this afternoon to talk about the bright future of the Middle East, but first let me begin by sharing the abundance of good news from a place called America. In less than 4 months, our new administration has achieved more than most other administrations accomplish in 4 years or even 8 years. We've actually done, for the most part, more. The day I took office, we inherited, thank you.
He's right, you know. He's right.
The day I took office, we inherited a colossal invasion on our southern border, an invasion like you'd never want to see here. Nobody should ever want to see it. But within weeks, we slashed illegal border crossings to an all-time low, down 99.999%.
Is that good?
That's good, even for this great gentleman standing right in front of me. That's a good number. Okay. We had hundreds of thousands of people. They came in at the same time last year. And last month, we had, in this massive border, 3 people that got in. That's quite a difference.
No kidding.
And we have no choice but to get a lot of the people that came in because they were not the best people.
No, they weren't. And the Democrats never had anything to say about that, did they? Yet they were very upset over the Trump administration allowing in 60 white South Africaners.
Are now the highest in 30 years because there is such an incredible spirit in the United States of America. We have tremendous spirit again. Just about a year ago, it was a big story, front page on every paper all over the world, that nobody wanted to enlist in our military, meaning we were way under enlisted. And just last week it came out that we had the strongest enlistment. They say 30 years, but probably it's maybe ever. They don't go back that far. It's the best, and that includes police officers, firemen, everything else. Is a great spirit in the United States right now.
Yep. Shout out to
a brand new poll from Rasmussen just showed that the number of Americans who believe the nation is on the right track, they have a right track, wrong track, is now the highest in over 20 years. And it hasn't been anything like this because for many years it was the wrong track. And I can tell you for the last 4 years it was definitely the wrong track. But it's the highest it's been in many, many years. We renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. That was very popular, other than perhaps with Mexico.
Yeah, they're suing Google over the map change. Did you know that?
And most importantly for the people in this room, the days of economic misery under the last administration are rapidly giving way to the greatest economy in the history of the world.
Hallelujah.
We are rocking. The United States is the hottest country, with the exception of your country, I have to say, right? I'm not going to take that on. No, Mohammed, I'm not going to take that on. Wouldn't that be a terrible thing if I made that full statement? But I will not do it. You're hotter. At least as long as I'm up here, you're hotter. But groceries, gasoline, energy, and all other prices are down with no inflation. We have no inflation. In a few short weeks, we've created 464,000 brand new jobs. Think of that. It's almost 500,000 jobs created just in a matter of weeks.
We're listening to Donald Trump at the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum.
And over the weekend, we reached a breakthrough agreement with China both outstanding deals. China's agreed. We have to get it down. We have to get the little details down. And Scott, you're going to work on that very hard, but China's agreed to open up to the United States for trade and everything else. But they have to do it, so we'll see what happens. But we had a very, very good meeting with both of those countries. We are cutting 10 old regulations for every new regulation. We're getting rid of all of the red tape that is so many, frankly, countries, as they get older, they develop a lot of red tape, and we're getting rid of it. We're getting rid of it at record levels. And I'm pleased to report that the United States Congress is on the verge of passing the largest tax cut and regulation cut in American history. We think we're in good shape to get that. And if we get that, that will be like a rocket ship for our country. In the first quarter of the year, the investment in America was up an astounding 22%. More than $10 trillion of new investments have been announced, the largest tax cut just since the election on November 5th. So think of that. In a very short period of time, we have over $10 trillion, and it could be much higher than that. Not everybody comes to the White House to have a news conference that they're going to be opening up in America, but they're all coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. If you take a look at other presidencies, they wouldn't do $1 trillion sometime in years. We did this in essentially 2 months because you have to say we got into office and they gave me about a month to clean up and fix up the Oval Office. And after that, we started working. And the money is pouring in, the jobs are pouring in, the companies are pouring into our country like we've never seen before. There's never been anything like it. And we let other people tariff us into losing a lot of money and a lot of jobs, and now we're tariffing them. And it's at a level that nobody's seen. It's a level that is making us a very much different country and a very different Republican Party. We won a tremendous victory in November. We won all 7 swing states, the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. The Electoral College, we won by 312 to 226. Remember, they said, well, we could get to 270. No, we got to 312. That's a big difference. And very importantly, we won counties throughout the United States, 2,660 to 451.
Pretty good.
That's why when you look at a map, they're all red. The whole country is red. Red stands for Republican. From the moment on and from the moment we started, we've seen wealth that just poured and is pouring back into America. Apple is investing $500 billion. NVIDIA is investing, and I see my friend is here.
Oh, lost the audio. Hang on one second. That should be back momentarily. There it is, sorry.
TSMC is investing. Where is Jensen, by the way? Where is he? He's standing here. Where is he? I just saw that. Thank you very much, Jensen. I mean, Tim Cook isn't here, but you are. What a job you've done. He said he's got 99% of the chip market. I don't know. That's not easy to beat, but what a job you've done. Thank you. We are proud to have you in our country. You know that. Thank you for the investment. TSMC is investing $200 billion, and with this trip, we're adding over $1 trillion more in terms of investment into our country and buying our products. And you know, nobody makes military equipment like us. We have the best military equipment, the best missiles, the best rockets, the best everything. Best submarines, by the way. Most lethal weapon in the world. In addition to purchases of $142 billion of American-made military equipment by our great Saudi partners, the largest ever. This week there are multi-billion-dollar commercial deals with Amazon, Oracle, AMD, they're all here, Uber, Qualcomm, Johnson & Johnson, and many, many more.
Again, we're listening to President Trump. He's at the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum. CNN has interrupted his speech to bring you an interview with Wolf Blitzer and Sanjay Gupta. I don't know if that's going to bring in the ratings.
They weren't that happy when they saw me, and now they're saying, sir, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. It's amazing what a rising market will do.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in. Never seen anything like it.
I love that he said they should have listened to me. They should have listened.
Make a future or make a fortune, do anything, frankly, than what we have in the United States of America under a certain president, Donald J. Trump. I have the right attitude. I have the same attitude that the people in the front row, second row, third row have. As you get back, perhaps they start to wane a little bit in terms of their view. But they understand, and we're doing what a lot of smart people would do. And we're not necessarily being politically correct. You saw what we did yesterday with health care. We've cut our health care by 50 to 90%.
Huge.
You're going to see drugs and pharmaceuticals come down at numbers that nobody has ever seen. And drugs, pharmaceuticals, we think will be dropping. And it will be a redistribution of costs with other nations, which really took advantage of a very nice group of people that ran our country. But not only is this a time of incredible excitement in the United States, it's also an exhilarating period right here in the Arabian Peninsula. Beautiful place, by the way. Beautiful place. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly 8 years ago this month, I stood in this very room and looked forward to a future in which the nations of this region would drive the forces of terrorism and extremism, drive them right out of existence, and take your place among the proudest, most prosperous, most successful nations anywhere in the world as leaders of a modern and rising Middle East. So exciting. So exciting. Mohammed, do you sleep at night? How do you sleep? Huh? Just thinking.
It's like Trump, 4 hours tops. 3 to 4.
What a job. He tosses and turns like some of us. Tosses and turns all night. How do I make it even better all night? It's the ones that don't toss and turn. They're the ones that will never take you to the promised land, won't they? But you have done some job. True. But critics doubted that it was possible what you've done. But over the past 8 years, Saudi Arabia has proved the critics totally wrong. The transformation that has occurred even by these incredible business leaders. I mean, you had the biggest leaders in business anywhere in the world standing right before us. But the transformation that has occurred under the leadership of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed has been truly extraordinary. Such a thing has, I don't think, ever happened before. I've never seen anything at that scale happen before. And I guess, maybe you could say the United States is doing pretty well, too, But
you could say that.
I don't think too many people have seen that happen before. Majestic skyscrapers, the towers that I see, the difference between now and 8 years ago. And 8 years ago was very impressive, but the towers that I see rising, some of the exhibits that I was shown by Mohammed, what I've seen there is just an amazing, it's an amazing process, amazing genius of so many people, architecture, but I have a feeling I know where many of those ideas came from. Happens to be sitting right in this room right before me, but the towers and all of the different, I've seen a lot of different towers. I didn't think there's any version of a tower that I haven't seen in one form or another. I just passed 4 exhibits. I have never seen anything like any of them. So it's going to be very exciting.
Again, we're listening to Donald Trump speaking at the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum.
Among the ancient wonders of a growing and exciting city. It's really amazing. Riyadh is becoming not just a seat of government, but a major business, cultural, and high-tech capital of the entire world. The World Cup is here. Johnny, just stand up, Johnny. Johnny, thank you, Johnny. Great job, Johnny. Great job. But the World Cup and the World Expo will soon be coming here, just like the World Cup is coming to the United States. It's going to be really exciting next year. The engines of Formula One racing now roar through the streets of Jeddah in a historic milestone. Other industries recently surpassed oil. Think of it. All of your other industries now have surpassed oil. I don't know if a lot of people will understand what that means. It's so big to make up a majority of the Saudi economy for the very first time ever. So think of that. Other industries are now bigger even than oil, which is always going to be a big monster. It's a big one. But that's a great tribute to you and economic development properly used. In other cities throughout the peninsula, places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Doha, Muscat, the transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence.
Amen.
We don't want that.
Amen. I mean, this is what the president of peace looks like, right?
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionalists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves.
No, he's absolutely right. It sounds like Donald Trump is wrapping things up in Saudi Arabia as he's addressing the Saudi-U.S. Investment Forum. Again, we wanted to bring that to you live. It's a very big deal what's happening there in Saudi Arabia. And Donald Trump, once again, putting America first on the global stage. We're here for it here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and we'll bring you all those highlights on the way. Hey, real quick, though, I did want to shout somebody out. I got to give a shout out to Mr. Eugene. He's our waste management guy. He comes every Tuesday, and every Tuesday, my boys come out very excited to see him, and he lets them hop in the truck and honk the horn. And we found out today that he listens to the show on a boombox in the truck. So we just want to say shout out to Mr. Eugene. Props.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So all this is nice in Saudi Arabia, but Mr. Eugene's the real MVP. Shout out to Eugene. So I just
from anecdotal evidence.
I'm just letting you know. The wife said, did you shout out Mr. Eugene yet? And I said, I'm so sorry, I spaced. Just shut him out now.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Eugene.
Chris Hand Show, #1 show for all trash collectors.
Anecdotally speaking. We have the anecdotal evidence to support that. 10:55 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. Talk about these guys all the time because they are the best. And if you are tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain bad tasting water at your house or even at your office, these are the guys you need to talk to. And you got to think about this, like wrap your head around it as a giant Brita filter for your entire home. Or you could scale it down and just get something for under the sink or even for your entire business. Now, these guys handle everything. They can remove all the nastiness from your water, and there is some nastiness in there. I'm talking sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. Now, you may not even know that you have it in there, but Better Water will test your water for free. And if you do have it in there, they offer a range of options. Reverse osmosis, water softeners, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. They're based right here in Middle Tennessee. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap and give Better Water a call today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or check them out online, betterwater.com, and make sure you tell them Chris Hand sent you.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And President Trump is addressing the Saudi Arabia Investment Forum this morning.
Saudi Arabia was the first stop for President Trump during his first term in office. This trip is again a break from his predecessors who visited traditional U.S. allies, Canada, Mexico, or the U.K. on their first official foreign trips. Saudi Arabia has significant economic influence in this region and has increased its political influence too, recently hosting peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Karen Travers, ABC News, traveling with the president in Riyadh.
Yeah, President Trump announcing military and energy deals with Saudi Arabia.
As you know, we have the biggest business leaders in the world here today. And they're going to walk away with a lot of checks for a lot of things that you're going to provide. And in the United States, it's probably 2 million jobs that we're talking about.
Agreement said to be worth $600 billion of investments in the U.S. And as for the new agreement on tariffs between China and the U.S., Rebecca Jarvis.
Even with the relief, Americans still set to face price increases. The tariffs, previously estimated to cost an additional $4,900 per household, but with the reduction, it's now $2,800.
And inflation, Jim Ryan?
The consumer price index fell 0.1% between February and March, but last month it rose 0.2. At the same time, though, the April to April figure has beaten the Wall Street consensus, rising 2.3%. More than half of last month's increase came in the housing category.
Overall food prices fell last month by a fraction. Some grocery items saw a dramatic decline. The cost of a dozen eggs fell more than 10% as the effect of avian flu eased. Here in Tennessee, the family of an Austin Peay football player who was killed in a crash on I-65 in Alabama say they're filing a wrongful death lawsuit. William Hardwick's parents say the driver of the semi that hit him was drunk at the time of the crash. They're suing him and his employer. In Memphis, posters are popping up all over the city with the photos of 3 former police officers who were acquitted in the death of Tyree Nichols. The posters read, "Wanted dead or unalive for the crime of beating Tyree to death and escaping justice." Police trying to figure out who's behind those posters there in Memphis. And the vitality and gait of former President Joe Biden, the subjects of a new book by 2 reporters who say Biden advisors covered up the truth about his deterioration. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
Quoting from the forthcoming book by CNN's Jake Tapper and Axios' Alex Thompson, Axios reports that Biden's advisor spoke privately as early as 2023 about his halting walk. The aides were said to have discussed the possibility that the president would need to use a wheelchair in his second term if he were reelected. And Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, reportedly warned that if the president had another bad fall, a difficult recovery might necessitate a wheelchair.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
7 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us a number of ways. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial, and you can watch the show. That's on, sorry, I almost did the same thing again. You can watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like and subscribe. We appreciate it when you do, and it's free to do so. And it helps us get the message out to far more people than we could if you didn't do that. So please do. We appreciate it.
Yeah, one of our listeners, I don't know if you saw this on the text line. One of our listeners is reaching out to you with breaking news, Chris. Did you see this? Breaking news for you? This is breaking news. I'm Coach Jimbo with the Giants and the 8U team White All-Stars coach and wanted to invite Brooks to the All-Star evaluations at the end of May. His hard work and dedication have been noticed for a shot for this season. Coach Logan gave me Virginia's number, but I wanted to tell you first.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you for sending that into the text line, Coach Jimbo. We appreciate. Brooks is he's been playing good, man. I don't know if he'll make the team, but we'll see. I think getting chosen for that is a pretty big deal.
That's a pretty big deal. But do you think it's good enough for a new glove?
No, we've been talking about that off the air.
Oh yeah.
I've basically strung together Brooks's baseball glove with bubble gum and duct tape this season.
Maybe the occasional shoelace.
And he keeps asking for a new glove, and you know what I tell him every time?
What do you tell him?
As soon as we get the likes and subscribes up, we'll be able to get you a new glove. So
makes sense.
He's been begging. He's been begging for you guys to like and subscribe for that new glove. No, I actually told him, dude, you don't want it. You don't want to get a new one in the middle of the season.
No, absolutely
Stick with the broken in one for now.
Yeah, it's so much harder to break in a new glove at the beginning or in the middle of a new season. It's just,
Yeah, you don't need that.
It's hard.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
But all right, cool.
With tryouts.
That's
pretty cool.
Man, I'm here for it.
That's
here for
cool.
it. So I was doing some research. Congrats, Brooks. That's awesome, man. And thank you, Coach Jimbo. But I was doing some research on the border, and I was looking for some updates. You know, it's like this has been one of the biggest news stories forever. Border enforcement and border crossings. And it's gone away. We heard Trump talking about it in Saudi Arabia. You know, we're down 99.99999%. And even CNN finds themselves admitting this, albeit begrudgingly.
Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening right now in this.
Oh, that's CNN's Abby Phillips saying Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. Hold on. I mean, that was really nice to listen to. But let's listen to it one more time.
Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening.
Oh, all right. You know it's real when CNN is even forced to report it. And it's actually the border stuff. It's becoming less and less of an issue. Like the conversation's moving towards ICE and deportations and enforcements and DHS and all the like. But we don't really have to worry about the border. And, you know, the main areas that are going to need focus currently, well, we're looking at you, California and Arizona and New Mexico, because over in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott announced he's going to he's been just putting in work. I mean, all across the board, he's been putting in work. Greg Abbott with the Razor Wire and Eagle Pass and the National Guard down there. He's been literally the example of what you need to do, and he's taking it a step further. He announced he's going to sign a new law that bans people from China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea from buying or owning land in Texas. Can we do that in Tennessee too, please? Can we make that happen? Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced that on May 12th, banning citizens from China, Russia, Iran, North Korea from buying or owning land in Texas, expanding on a 2023 proposal by Senator Lois Kolkhorst to curb foreign ownership of strategic lands like agriculture or oil-producing areas due to national security concerns. The legislation stems from a fear of foreign entities, particularly Chinese companies, purchasing land near U.S. military bases, such as a 2020 case where a Chinese energy firm attempted to buy more than 130,000 acres near Laughlin Air Force Base, prompting broader scrutiny of foreign land ownership in the United States. Once again, Texas just being an absolute example of how to handle business. Arkansas did this a while back, too. Shout out to Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Banning China from owning U.S. land is huge. So the border conversation is definitely evolving. It at one point was about stopping the crossings, and that seems to be a moot point at this point because, as CNN Abby Phillips said,
Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening.
So again, the focus isn't necessarily on the border, but the focus is on the blue states that are around the border. And DHS is now going to be investigating California over federal benefits going to illegal aliens. I'm a big fan of this. We've talked about this ad nauseum, especially during the Biden years, how frustrating it was that illegal aliens can sneak into this country and get a free ride to any city that they want to, a hotel room, a food stipend, EBT benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the likes, right? Cutting the lines of our veterans at the VA. We can go down the list. We can relitigate all that if you want to, but it was infuriating. And we go, why are we doing this? And blue states just continue to do it. The Department of Homeland Security says enough is enough, and they're investigating California for allegedly providing benefits to illegal aliens and has subpoenaed numerous records from the state of California's Cash Assistance Program for Immigrants, the CAPI, beginning in January 2021. DHS says that the subpoena requests are for all the records from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Services, who administers to the state program to determine if ineligible illegal aliens received supplemental security income, SSI, from Social Security Administration between January 2021 to present. The record that were included in the request included the names of all applicants as well as their date of birth, copies of applications for the CAPI program, immigration status of those who applied, as well as the affidavits in support of the applications and other information. Now, Kristi Noem was asked about the investigation. She said that radical left politicians in California prioritize illegal aliens over their own citizens, including by giving illegal aliens access to cash benefits. The Trump administration is working together to identify abuse and exploitation of public benefits and make sure those in the country illegally are not receiving federal benefits or other financial incentives to stay here illegally. If you're an illegal alien, you should leave now. The gravy train is over. While this subpoena focuses only on Los Angeles County, it is just the beginning. The press release from DHS goes on to cite that over 2 million illegal aliens were able to obtain Social Security numbers in 2024 under former President Joe Biden. The last administration saw record rates of illegal immigration, but the number of illegal immigrants crossing the southern border has dropped off significantly, or as Abby Phillips on CNN would say,
Trump has succeeded. He has shut the border down. There are no border crossings virtually happening.
She sounds a little disappointed to say that, don't you think? Like she's like, how did he do it? Without any new legislation or laws or funding. Orange man. It's got to be the racism, right? It's got to be.
Oh, has to be.
Has to be. It's the most racist orange president we've ever had. Get rid of him. So then the effect is now we gotta look towards getting the illegal aliens out, right? If the border's secure and we're investigating the states to eliminate the incentives, well then you gotta focus on getting some of these individuals gone. And it's not just here, but it's also abroad. I mean, we have to focus on the cartels in Mexico that are making life a living hell here and, making work harder on our Border Patrol agents. We do have an update from Mexico. A dual U.S. and Mexican national by the name Juan Jose Jacobo Regalado, a.k.a. LJ3, was arrested over the weekend by ICE Homeland Security Investigations Vetted Unit, TCIU, within the Fiscalía General de la República, Agency de Investigación Criminal, supported by the Mexican Secretary of National Defense. J3 was a leader of the Los Diminos, a violent faction of the Sinaloa cartel, responsible for hundreds of homicides and smuggling drugs across the U.S.-Mexico border. He is the third member of the leadership ranks of Los Diminos, arrested in the last month thanks to the government of Mexico and ICE HSI collaboration. They say the arrest represents a significant win in joint U.S.-Mexico efforts to dismantle violent cartels, keep the border secure, and protect our communities. And this is a good sign. I mean, Trump was talking about the Mexican president a few weeks ago, and she said that she was scared to death of the cartels. That he asked if they wanted help. She said no, and he said that, well, you know why? It's because she shook. shaking in her boots, shaking like a leaf when it comes to the cartels. He said this on board Air Force One. This was maybe 2 weeks ago. Today's the 13th. This was 10 days ago aboard Air Force One. And he was talking about, going after the cartels in Mexico, and said that Mexico at the time had declined his offer to U.S. military on the cartels. Now, this isn't military, what took out J3, this individual from the Sinaloa cartel, but it is a joint U.S.-Mexico production. But this is Trump's comments on the Mexican president just 10 days ago.
Mexico is saying that I offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to take care of the cartel. She wants to know, is that true? Do you think I'm going to answer that question? That's why I'm asking. We'll see. I will answer it. It's true.
It's just Trump. You think I'm going to answer that question? I am. I am. And it's true. It's just...
The reporters didn't know what to expect there.
Well, it had to put a pit in her stomach. Oh no, am I going to be the next viral clip of Trump berating some Washington Post or ABC reporter? It's like, oh no. You think I'm going to answer that question? I will.
I will.
And it's true.
I will answer it. It's true.
He's so good at this.
Oh.
But he goes on to say, he's like, listen, the deal with the Mexican president and pretty much every Mexican president that came before her is that they're shook of the cartels. They are scared to death.
Absolutely. Because they should be. They are horrible people that have been killing people left and right. They've made a fortune on selling drugs and destroying our people. We lost 300,000 people last year to fentanyl and drugs. They're bad news. Yeah, that's true. If Mexico wanted help with the cartels, we would be honored to go in and do it. I told her that. I would be honored to go in and do it. The cartels are trying to destroy our country. They're evil. And, we had 300,000 people die last year from fentanyl and all of that. We had millions of people brought into this country that shouldn't be here. The cartels brought them in. So if she said that I offered to do that, she's 100% right. Are you disappointed that she denied that request, but she doesn't want to? Well, she's so afraid of the cartel she can't walk, so that's the reason.
She's so afraid of the cartels she can't walk. That's the reason.
And I think she's a lovely woman, but the president of Mexico is a lovely woman. But she is so afraid of the cartels that she can't even think straight.
So afraid of the cartels, she can't even think straight. Yeah, they need Trump's help. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, the entire world could use a little bit of Trump in their life. I'm not just saying that. I think it's true. Now, you see the effect that Trump has had on our own immigration policies, but we're seeing the ripple effect of the immigration policies globally. And Keir Starmer yesterday had some wild comments while he made his way to a podium talking about immigration. And as I'm listening to this, I'm like, man, either Trump and meeting with Trump has gotten to Keir Starmer, or they actually were doing cocaine in that picture that was in video that was circulating around on the internet. One, both, maybe true. We'll bring you those comments from Keir Starmer when we get back. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We love the guys over at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you're looking for a job, Busy Bee's hiring. Yeah, listen, they are booming over at the Hive, and they want you to join the team. So they're hosting a hiring open house on May 31st from 10 to 2. If you've got 3 or more years of experience in plumbing or HVAC, service or install, they want to meet you. Now, the pay is solid, man. It ranges from $30 to $39 an hour, plus healthcare, PTO, federal holidays off, even your birthday. You get your birthday off. It's pretty dope. That's if you want to work with Busy Bee. If you're just getting started in the trades, you're welcome as well. Bring the family. Check it out. That's Saturday, May 31st, 10 to 2 from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's a great gig. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Join the Beehive Club today. Details, busybehvac.com.
All right, drivers, got an issue on the North Loop. It looks like a crash is blocking the Gore there. That's 65 northbound at the I-24-65 junction. That's going to be just north of downtown. A new weapons detection system is working in Nashville schools. We'll tell you what happened today, coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Why would you need those?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
BetterWater.com. Great sponsor. If you want to support the show, support our sponsors. They actually think that's funny. So I don't get in trouble when I play it. I asked them.
Why wouldn't you think it's funny?
I asked them. I said, you okay with that? They said, we're okay with that.
We're okay with that.
That's how you know that they're based. Shout out to Better Water. Love those guys. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. There's a share button. We appreciate it when you do that. There's a message of truth that we're trying to spread out there here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So the more you share this show, Dan's shows, Chad's show, and Matt's show with your friends, the better off we're going to be in this country. So please hit like, hit subscribe, and hit share. Yesterday, I saw these comments from Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, who you may remember from calling the president Donald many, many times, which prompted his citizens to call him a bootlicker. He's talking a little tough now, especially when it comes to immigration. I was actually really surprised about this. Not only did he say that he didn't want Britain to become an island of strangers, but he also said that anybody coming there should speak the language English, which, listen, that's not radical to conservatives here in America to hear or say, but I assure you, when the Prime Minister of the UK says that, it is a radical statement. This is not something that they're used to hearing over in Europe, and I have to think to myself, and I'm sure you will think the same upon hearing these comments, this has a lot to do with President Donald Trump. This is Keir Starmer's comments yesterday on immigration policy in the UK.
Let me put it this way. Nations depend on rules, fair rules. Sometimes they're written down, often they're not. But either way, they give shape to our values, guide us towards our rights, of course, but also our responsibilities, the obligations we owe to each other. Now, in a diverse nation like ours, and I celebrate that, these rules become even more important. Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers.
Whew. Now listen, take the British accent out and all the assumed politeness that comes with that accent, and understand that this is a massive shift in England. We don't want to become an island of strangers, and he doesn't stop there.
Not a nation that walks forward together. So when you have an immigration system that seems almost designed to permit abuse, that encourages some businesses to bring in lower paid workers rather than invest in our young people.
Sound familiar?
Or simply one that is sold by politicians to the British people on an entirely false premise.
Sound familiar?
Then you're not championing growth. You're not championing justice or however else people defend the status quo. You're actually contributing to the forces that are slowly pulling our country apart. So yes, I believe in this. I believe we need to reduce immigration significantly. That's why some of the policies in this white paper go back nearly 3 years. Why I told the Labour Party conference, taking back control is a Labour argument. And why, most importantly of all, inward migration is already falling with this government.
I mean, listen, you wouldn't hear these statements if Kamala Harris had won that election in November. I guarantee you wouldn't hear these statements if Kamala Harris had won the election. This is the Trump effect in real time. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, Metro Police say they arrested a 17-year-old Maplewood High School senior after a loaded pistol was discovered inside his backpack this morning. Maplewood's Evolve detection system alerted staff to check the 17-year-old as he came into the building. He's being charged at juvenile court with bringing a weapon onto school property and unlawful gun possession. This is the second time this new technology has hit on a gun at school in Nashville. The first one last week at Antioch High School. President Trump has secured a $600 billion investment commitment from Saudi Arabia to strengthen energy security, defense technology, and access to global infrastructure and critical minerals. It includes a $142 billion defense and security deal that equips Saudi Arabia with state-of-the-art war equipment provided by dozens of U.S. firms. Inflation report, goods like gasoline, groceries, and rent rose 0.2% in April compared with last month, while it was up 2.3% over last year. That's the lowest rate since February of 2021.
Overall food prices fell last month by a fraction, but some grocery items saw a dramatic decline. The cost of a dozen eggs, for example, fell more than 10% as the effect of avian flu eased. Still, egg prices are almost 50% higher than in April of last year.
That's Jim Ryan. Stock markets jumping after the new agreement on tariffs between the U.S. and China, that 90-day pause. The Dow, S&P 500, NASDAQ posting their best day in over a month on Monday. And we have an update on the health of former President Joe Biden.
A spokesperson says the small nodule was found in Joe Biden's prostate during a routine physical. The aide says the discovery necessitated further evaluation, declining to offer any additional details. It's not clear when the exam took place, but the 82-year-old former commander-in-chief told ABC's The View last Thursday.
I'm well. The family's well, thank God.
Medical experts say prostate issues in a man of Biden's age are common, and nodules are in most cases benign. But they could also indicate something more serious, including the possibility of prostate cancer. Only further testing can say. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand, and if you are tired of sky-high insurance costs, you need to talk to my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. I sing Shane's praises all the time because Shane can save you some money, and nobody wants to overpay for health insurance. Now, Shane has a new option that could absolutely change the game for you. There's a new plan on the market for health insurance that will bring your deductible down to just $250. Yeah, you heard me. Not $5,000, not $8,000, just $250. The best part is you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You see, Shane can help you switch and start saving money right now. He's been doing this for over 20 years, and he's going to shop the entire market for you. This is where his advantage comes in. He has over 75 different companies to shop from, and he'll find the best fit for you based on your budget and your health needs. Now, whether you're self-employed or between jobs or just plain old overpaying, Shane can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. 30 to 60%. That's a big deal. So stop overpaying and call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. You can also hit his website, covernash.com. I'm more of a phone call guy. I think you are too. 615-465-0023 to talk to Shane Ring today about affordable, quality health coverage managed by you, not the government, covernash.com. 38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system, you go to betterwater.com, local company. They support the show, support our sponsors. Love those guys. You can watch the show Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's Super Talk TV. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Do all the things, please. I got a lot of kids. I got to feed. Got camps. Apparently, I gotta get new baseball equipment.
Yeah,
so
it's like new gloves.
It's really becoming a mountain. So hit like and hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe. Hey, remember when we so I don't know if you guys remember this, but Jake Tapper was writing a book about Biden's memory decline.
Oh, yeah.
And we sent a very cordial email.
Yeah.
Listen, me and Mason sat back in the back. We have a little production studio in the back, and we crafted the nicest email we could ever possibly craft. And we wanted it to be and we used ChatGPT too.
Yeah.
So this is how. So we're like,
using
hey,
AI
Chat,
for benefit.
So we're like, we want Jake Tapper on the show. We want him to make that. We want him to make him think we like him. So that was like our prompt to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was like, Jake, you're incredible, and we love you, and we want you on the show. And we were like, whoa, tone it down a little bit, make it a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Make it a little more subtle.
Professional.
And so that was like weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Has Jake Tapper or Penguin Publishing, I think it was, who emailed, have they reached back out to us about the interview?
Nothing. I thought I got something in my junk email, but it was just talking about fake global warming. So I was like, wrong penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, too, because he's doing media now.
Yeah.
He's doing interviews on this book, Original Sin, about Joe Biden's memory decline, which we all saw happening in real time, except for Jake Tapper.
Yeah.
Do you think it's CYA that's going on?
I think that's part of it. Journalistic credibility. Trying to hang on to that. But Jake is now apparently he's only doing interviews with friendlies.
We are friendly, though, according to the email.
Listen, we wrote in the email that we are friendly. It said down at the bottom, P.S., we're super friendly.
Yeah, it's not even subtext. It's just there.
Yeah. And we're like, ChatGPT, subtly make it seem like we're big Jake Tapper fans. So it was baked in the cake.
So come on the air, Jack.
He won't though, but he's giving friendly interviews to CNN about the cognitive decline of one Joe Biden.
So the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, was telling White House aides that President Biden's deterioration of his spine, the degeneration, was so significant that if he fell one more time, that he might have to be in a wheelchair and serve in a wheelchair for his second term. But everybody pushed off the notion that he use a wheelchair until after the election. This is all part of a larger whole where the Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration.
I mean, they tried to hide it, but anybody with two eyes could see exactly what was happening in front of you. So you're telling me, Jake, that the White House doctor said Joe Biden was going to have to use a wheelchair because of his spine deterioration. And now, I feel for the guy. I do. Taking the fact that he was the worst president I've ever seen in my lifetime, completely incompetent and a doddering old fool who allowed an illegal alien invasion into this country, whopping inflation, had a disastrous Afghanistan pullout, and it was just all around a weird guy sniffing kids. To put all that aside, I do feel a little bit bad. He's an old man and his spine is falling apart. Just looking at it like that, yeah, that sucks. But the Biden administration was going to be willing to lie to you until post-election. We got to keep that guy upright until we win. That was their goal. Let's lie to the American public until we don't have to anymore. That, according to Jake Tapper.
Both physical and cognitive. As much as possible. In fact, as we all saw, as his shuffling gait got worse and worse from 2003 to 2004, they started putting aids around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter.
Yep.
That was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad.
I mean, we all knew they were using the short stairs up Air Force One. Everybody was fully aware, except for Jake Tapper.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw Trump led around with a carrot on a stick?
Honestly, remember the Easter Bunny? We talked about that a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny, like that. They had a handler in an Easter Bunny costume, so that way Joe didn't answer any questions of the press or sniff any kids too blatantly.
Yeah, they just showed it on Fox News. It was him just waving around.
I just can't believe it. Like Jake Tapper's like he's going to put up the facade that like we had no idea. It was the Biden administration covering this up, not the media, right? It was never the media covering it up. It was the Biden administration. They pulled the wool over the eyes of the media, and nobody had any idea when he was, I don't know, reaching out for dead people and asking if they were in attendance. It was the media had no idea what the Biden administration was covering up. That's what Jake Tapper's going with?
His walking was, his shuffling, and also in case he stumbled again to make sure somebody was there. And this is just of a piece of an overall campaign to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job.
Oh, it was just the administration trying to cover it up. Remember that. It was just the administration. Ken was right. It's CYA. The administration was covering this up. The media wasn't lying to the American people. No. It was the administration. Honestly. And more stuff is coming out. There's new reports that in 2024 at a fundraiser, Joe Biden had no idea who George Clooney was. None. No idea. And that's like one of his biggest supporters.
Oh, yeah.
They've known each other for years and years and years. And he said, who the hell is this guy?
What?
It's getting embarrassing. It's getting embarrassing. They say that Clooney was stunned that Joe didn't know him. And a couple weeks later, that's when Clooney came out and said that he wasn't supporting Joe Biden. To which Joe Biden replied, who?
Come on, man.
It's breaking news for the left. What? Well, he was deteriorating and the administration covered it up.
No.
Not the media.
How could they?
Not the media. In fact, David Hogg, who has been recently kicked out of the DNC, did you hear that? He was too uppity for the DNC and they got to get rid of him. David Hogg was on Real Time with Bill Maher over the weekend. And while he was there, he said, I'm going to get a lot of heat for what I'm about to say to my fellow Democrats, but we told people said to us that Joe Biden is too old, and they said that prices are too high, and we said, with the power of $2 billion behind us, no, he's not, and yes, he is, and then, no, they aren't, and look at this graph of the stock market. This is David Hogg on Real Time with Bill Maher. Keep your finger near the dump button because I don't know. You never know with Bill Maher, and I've not heard this clip before. So we're playing a little Russian roulette here with some audio.
The strategy that Trump employed, like she's for they, them, and he's for you. Well, that was the big ad that worked.
I think the reason why that worked, though, Bill, is because people felt like they weren't heard by us. Voters told us two things more than anything in the past election, and I'm going to get a lot of heat for what I'm about to say from my fellow Democrats, but we told people heard from us that people said to us that Joe Biden is too old, and they said that prices are too high. And we said with the power of $2 billion behind us, no, he's not, then yes, he is. And then, no, they aren't. Look at this graph of, the stock market or whatever it is. If you tell people not to believe their eyes or their wallets, you're going to lose them.
Yeah, and listen, they tried to do that a couple times during the last election, not just with Joe Biden, but then following with Kamala Harris. And it's funny the way this kid can predict the future. David Hogg said this is going to get me in trouble with Democrats, and sure enough, I think it did, because David Hogg is no longer with the DNC. They have officially moved on from the young Hogster, and they said, yep, you got to go. You got to go. A committee within the Democrat National Committee has voted to void the results of the party vote that led to David Hogg becoming the DNC vice chair. Per the New York Times, the Credentials Committee ruled that the election had not followed parliamentary procedures. The ruling came after one of the losing candidates, Kaylin Free, said the party had wrongly combined two questions into a single vote, which put female candidates at a disadvantage due to the DNC's gender party rule. Now, what we understand here is that David Hogg was ruffling too many feathers inside the DNC. And for as much as we can talk crap about the Democrats, the one thing that they always do well is they hold the line and they pull in the same direction. Not, you can't say the same about the Republicans. You just can't. But the Democrats, that's always the case. David Hogg, ruffling too many feathers. They said, sorry, kid. You got to go. It's a rules thing. Classic DNC moves. So David Hogg is out. He spoke too much truth. not a thing that I expected to say in 2025. Not
on my bingo card.
No, not in the year 2025. Yet here we are. CNN admitting that Joe Biden had cognitive decline, and David Hogg admitting that we tried to throw $2 billion at an election to make you not believe your eyes, and it backfired. Wow. I'd be shocked if I wasn't. So it's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
He's a meanie.
He is. He's tough to deal with.
Hey.
I just went through a whole bunch of videos about people like you.
You did that?
Whoa.
It's 11:53. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Mason was just being a little bit of a jerk to Chad here.
He was, to all of us.
I don't understand.
No, it was you, buddy boy. Don't be throwing Chad. No. Me and Chad are on good terms.
So you did all your training?
I did. I love those things.
I did.
You know what I learned? Hire only white men who can take jokes. Oh, that was wrong, but true.
I guess it's been working. It's working out.
So it's I have a buddy who's got a big time brokerage firm. He separates the men and the women.
What do you mean?
Because I can't have men and women together because it's too much of a lawsuit. Separate the men and the women. They can't be around each other. The female brokers are in a different place. All the back office, women are in one area, and the male brokers and everything in a different area. Because it's a lawsuit always waiting to happen.
No commingling. What does he do with the transgender individuals?
I don't think he's much of a. If they're good, he'll just decide. Maybe he'll come up with his own, like half in, half out.
Work from home. Jeez,
2.5 days a week.
What do you got? What do you got on your radar today, man? What stories are you paying attention to?
I don't know. We're going to talk about. I don't know. Diddy. That was horrible. I read some of it. Just use a horrible human being. Epic. Like. The kind of stuff where it is so bad. You're just like, what did you do? Dude, how did you get to that point where you had all of this and you decide, now I can be what I really want to be, which is a criminal.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
No.
Like you have all the money in the world. You could just kick your feet up. You never have to do anything a day in your life again. You're famous. So like you're going to have those I don't know. I don't want to say perks of fame, but like
you get the perks of fame.
The results of fame. Like you never, like I just don't understand it.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's so bizarre. Like I wonder how we talked a bit about it yesterday. It's how do people who have everything, right? They work hard, they get to what they want, and in reality, that just gives them more money to do all the things that you think. Why would you? I thought you wanted to escape that. The whole thing was to get away from stuff like that.
No, he just wanted to bring it to a nicer neighborhood.
Yeah. He just wanted to be a legit gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, like old school.
And he probably wasn't, and that's probably where a lot of this came from.
Although, man, everybody coming forward is like, well, I'll be sure. So like, yeah, I think he killed my first wife.
Have you seen? Yeah, well, because the weird pneumonia thing, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody around him comes down with pneumonia, and then I guess there's something that you could give people that would mimic pneumonia in the hospital.
It's so bizarre, though. Like the stories now of like he did this and so. It was like very much a Clinton thing.
Yeah. Diddy side.
So we're talking a little bit about that. We've got. We'll talk a little immigration. We'll talk a little bit about Saudi Arabia.
What do you think about the South Africans? All 60 of them, and the Democrats are in a tizzy because they happen to be white.
Why are you here?
But I thought we were supposed to champion this kind of stuff when individuals need to seek asylum or they're in a bad situation. We're that beacon light on a hill, right?
Yeah, you thought South Africa's bad. Welcome to Des Moines.
Until it's 60 white South Africans.
Why are you guys here? Why are you guys here? Come on, let's be real. I mean, it's genocide, which, by the way, the Trump administration says it's not genocide over there. So I'm like, why are you guys here again? And at the same time, everybody freaks out over it. 60 people in Des Moines, Iowa. Who's going to notice that?
Honestly.
Yeah, honest to God, have fun in Des Moines. But it's Des Moines, Cedar Rapids. I mean, they're not bad, but
I don't think anybody's cats are going to go missing, and you're going to go, it's the damn South Africans.
No. So it's the whole thing is, well, South Africa's a hot mess, and it's been that way since I was a child.
Yeah.
So
You ever been?
No. Have you?
No.
I've had buddies who went there, and I've thought about going, but we were going to go for the World Cup, but I said nah.
You need a lot of vaccinations to get into Africa, don't you?
Yeah. There too. The other thing is when we were thinking about going, they were like, "Look, if you're going to go, you probably should hire some people that hang out with you, kind of protect you." I'm like, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't. So
you should pay people to stay alive if you're going to go there.
Yeah, proof of life. So now but we'll talk we were going to talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about, I don't know, maybe the plane thing. He's with Saudi Arabia. I think he's asking for a boat today.
Hey, the Boat Force One.
That's right.
Does the president get a boat?
I need a boat. No, any boat he's on is Navy One. If he's on a boat, it's Navy One.
But there's no special designated boat.
There's no designated
There
boat.
should be.
So, well, he's going to try to find out today.
There should be.
Nothing ostentatious. Under 400's fine.
Yeah.
A couple helipads, and it's for the children. We're going to teach them to read when I put it at the library.
We're only going to sail it in the Great Lakes, only beautiful American waters, surrounded by a beautiful American land.
You know, and I'm like, the whole Cutter thing is just gross, dude.
I know, like,
it's just like, you know what? It's all
I think that it's to give a kick in the pants to Boeing. Like, I think that's what it's for. Oh, like going out and be like,
it's not America first.
But they said that this was being discussed under Obama, and now it's not going to be. Your plane's not going to be ready until 2035.
Yeah, so
like that's bogus. Like if you put all of your might into doing something, how long do you think it would honestly take them? 6 months?
Well, you would think they're like, hey, you know,
7 months.
These guys, they're pretty important to our entire business. So maybe we could finish it.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the people that also left somebody on. A space station for 6 months or whatever it was when they were only supposed to be there for 5 days.
That's true. Maybe, because we sent Elon and those guys to save the
Maybe Elon
astronauts.
should build a
Maybe Elon should just build a plane.
He's probably efforting for that.
He's going to build the plane and the boat.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
Oh, it's a big boat. It's going to have books on it for reading because it's going to be a library boat.
And the Wi-Fi is going to be stronger than ever seen.
Elon with the weaponized autism, he's going to be like, why aren't they just both?
He should be on Love on the Spectrum.
It should be a plane and a boat.
It should be a bloat.
It should be a bloat, the first ever. The first ever.
It could fly and land on water, and it can drive, so it's kind of a car, and it's made all electric by the Chinese.
It's a blart. It's a blart.
All blart.
We need that.
We'll get it. It's going to be fun, man. That's what we're going to talk about.
This is the golden age of America. I want my planes and my boats combined.
That's right. We have some of those things, kind of.
That's what I voted for.
Is that what you voted for?
That's what I voted for. While everybody else was worried about immigration and the economy, I said, planes and boats.
You want a combo.
That's what I signed up for.
Would you like me to extra supersize your combo bloat?
Let's go. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.